Okay, everybody, it is May the 10th. I've got us recording. It is 7 p.m. Central. I'll talk Central because it's my time. I am so excited for all of y'all to be here. I am recording it. I'm super excited for y'all to hear about Brock. So I don't even know Brock, but I just randomly reached out to him. I've known or I've seen and watched his mom for a long time. And then when I realized that they were mother and son, it was like so great because Brock, I don't know if you know, but I have 4 boys. So I love me some boys. Love being a boy mama. So it's so fun to kind of watch y'all. I'll have a daughter too, but I love those boys. Anyway, so we're always looking to better ourselves. Our business is all about social media, and I'm sure, have a bunch of questions. I don't know really how, Brock, you are going to do this, but I'm just going to get out of the way. And if I can see and just let you take over. So
Totally.
there you
Totally.
are.
Amy, well,
Awesome.
thank you. Thank you for having me. If you could enable me as co-host, that'd be awesome. If it's cool with you, Amy, and if it's cool with everyone who's hopping on right now, I have some slides prepared. I have actually a brand new presentation that I've never given before. So if it's cool with everyone, if I could get your permission to do this presentation that no one else has ever seen before, I would love to do that. Is that cool, Amy? Is that cool with everyone? Sweet. Okay, cool. So I'll make sure to pull up my slides, but before I even do that, let me introduce myself. My name is Brock Johnson. I am a 24-year-old Instagram marketing expert. All that basically means is I'm here to help you. I'm here to help small business owners organically grow on Instagram. That's what I've figured out. I've figured out how to grow on Instagram without unfollow, or buying followers, or spam messages or anything like that. I want to help you organically grow your following, and really important, I want to make sure that you're not spending your entire life glued to your phone on Instagram. I don't want you to walk away from this training feeling like you have a laundry list of things that you now have to do and you have to spend 19 hours a day on Instagram in order to be successful. I don't think that's necessary. I think that you can be successful in the limited amount of time that you have, because I recognize that we all have very limited amounts of free time. Whether you're a parent, or you have this business, or you have your side hustle, or you have your main job and then this is your side hustle, or you have all these different other social medias, or you have your family, or maybe you just want to be a normal, well-rounded human being and you don't want to just be glued to Instagram all day. I understand that. And I don't want you to walk away from today's training feeling like you have to do a million different things. In fact, a lot of what I'm going to share with you today is things that are going to help you save time on Instagram, but see better results. And this is very important to me because I built my entire business while I was playing college football. So quick backstory on me. When I left for college, when I was 18 years old, I felt kind of guilty because I was across the country. I was away from home for the first time, but I was relying on my parents to pay for everything, whether it be my groceries, food, anything like that. I was responsible, or they were responsible for paying for all of that. And I had no way of making money for myself. But I was a college athlete. I played college football. So I couldn't get like a traditional job. I couldn't work a 9 to 5 because I had football and school and practice and weightlifting and all this stuff. So I knew that the only option for me was to start my own business. And so I built this entire business for myself while playing college football. So I understand the stresses and the challenges of having limited free time and a limited budget. I mean, I was working on a college football player budget and I wasn't on scholarship. So I wasn't getting any money in the door from playing college football. So all of that to just say, I'm really excited to be here tonight. I'm really excited to get to share with you what really matters on Instagram in 2021. And that's the title of my training today. Let me readjust my little window here. Instagram growth in 2021, what really matters. And that's what we're going to be focusing on. We're going to be focusing on growing your Instagram, how to actually get more followers in the door. Yes, but not just followers, but followers who will become customers. I think that was an important part of my story that I left out. Is I grew my entire business almost exclusively through first Snapchat and then Instagram. So I know how to grow a business on Instagram. And that's what I want. I want to make sure that you're growing with followers who will become customers, not just people who follow you because you want to be an influencer. I encourage you to follow me. My username across all socials. You can also see it. It's my Zoom username. It's a little pro tip for you, is to change your Zoom username to match your Instagram username. That way it's easy for people to find you. But Brock 11 Johnson, that's my handle. Every single day, I share at least one valuable educational tip. Let's start here. And I encourage you to take notes tonight as we depart on this flight, on this 45-minute journey. I encourage you to take notes, put your tray tables down, pull out the pen and piece of paper, take notes. Please write this at the top, the very top of your notes. Instagram stories will not help you grow your following. Instagram stories will not help you grow your following. And that is why tonight we will only be talking about the Instagram feed. The Instagram feed. As I said, as the title of this presentation was, we are talking about growth. We are talking about how to grow your following. And if stories don't help you grow your following, well, then nothing tonight that I'm going to be talking about until we get to Q&A will be about the Instagram stories. We're going to talk only about the Instagram feed. So as I'm giving you any tip or strategy later on tonight or throughout this presentation, please remember it's for the feed, not for your Instagram stories. It's going to be really important to remember. But let's start with the 5 biggest mistakes that people are making on Instagram. The 5 biggest mistakes specifically that I see network marketers making on Instagram. Number 1, failing to niche down. And don't even worry, we're going to go through each and every single one of these things in detail. I mean, what kind of a coach would I be? What kind of an instructor would I be if I was just like, this is what not to do, and then I sent you on your way? Of course, I'm going to give you the biggest mistakes, but I'll also break down for you how to avoid them and how to do the opposite, of course. Number 2, copying what the upline is doing. Change the word upline for influencers or celebrities. Just because someone has 200,000 followers doesn't mean that you should just do whatever they're doing on Instagram. They might be in a totally different season of their life. They might be in a totally different stage of their business. They might have grown their following in 2017 when the rules were totally different. You don't know. So blindly copying someone else's strategy without knowing what's going to work for you is a huge mistake on Instagram. Number 3, too much selling. Here's a gold bomb for you. The more you sell, the less sales you'll make. And I know that sounds so counterintuitive, but I'll get to that later, and we'll talk about that later. But the more you sell, the more you're showing up on Instagram to just sell, the less sales you'll make. Number 4, incorrect use of hashtags. Of course, it's one of the most highly talked about things on all of Instagram. We will be talking about hashtags. And then number 5, posting just interesting content. I will be going off on a little rant later tonight about interesting content. So let's go back to number 1, though. Let's go back to failing to niche down, and let's talk niche. Niche or niche, no matter how you pronounce it, what is it? Let's start there. I think it scares a lot of people. Just the idea of this topic, when people saw this, they probably shuddered. But what is niche? What is niche? It is basically, it's a focus. These are synonyms. You don't have to write these down. These are synonyms. Focus, it's a topic, it's a subject, an expertise, a subcategory, a special interest. A niche is basically a subset of the larger industry. So if I say fitness, that's not a niche, that's an industry. A subset would be Nigerian moms postpartum fitness. That's a niche. That's a specific niche. That's one of our clients' niches. Specific. That's what you're looking for with niche. So when I say wellness, that's not a niche. That's an industry. When I say beauty, that's not a niche. That's an industry. So that's what niche is. Let's just start with this kind of general definition. It's like a subset. It's a focus, if you will. And here's where we should start tonight's training. It's easiest to grow on Instagram when your account focuses on a singular subject, on one singular niche and subject. And you know what? I'm going to pull down my slides really quick because I need to make sure that I say this before we go any further. Everything you are hearing tonight is based off of scientifically researched data. I will put on my blue light blocking nerd glasses for you for a second, because everything that I am talking to you about tonight, everything I'm sharing with you is based off scientifically researched data. This is not based off, oh, I heard some YouTube expert say this and he said this, and then I saw some other random lady on Facebook say this, and then, oh, I'm going to just tell you. Everything I'm sharing with you tonight has been based off of researched data. We have tested over and over and over again to figure out exactly what works and exactly what's going to lead you to the fastest growth. And when I say we, it's because I do this with my mom. Everything I do it with my mom. We run this whole Instagram business together. So it's been researched between my mom and myself. We run about 20 different Instagram accounts across our business. We have over 100 different Instagram accounts, and we also have a membership community with thousands of Instagram members who we can pull and test and run case studies on their accounts to get the real data of what actually works. So I'll take these off. I just had to make that disclaimer before we go any further. But let's hop back into the slides because that's what you really care about, not seeing me with what I'm saying is it's easiest to grow on Instagram when your account focuses on a singular subject, one singular subject. I believe that you pick a niche, you become known for that thing, and then you can branch out later on. So some of you might know my mom, Chalene Johnson, and you might say, but Brock, she posts about ADHD and she posts about taking care of my grandpa who has Alzheimer's, and she posts about fitness, which is a lot of people know her for. She's got the world record for the most fitness videos by an individual. You might know her for marketing or business. You might know her because she's my mom and for nothing else. That's pretty cool. But she is able to talk about all of these different things because she has first built her platform. She has 600,000 followers. When you have that many people following you, you can talk about just about whatever you want and people will still engage. But I will tell you this, she struggled to grow for about a year or two. She hit 500,000 followers and she struggled to grow because she was talking about all of these different topics. She did a test. For 3 months, she only focused her account on one thing, helping entrepreneurs with ADHD. She grew her account by 100,000. She hit a plateau for a year or two. Boom, 100,000 followers in just a couple of months by focusing on one thing, picking one thing. But what do you pick? Let's go back to the slides. What do you pick? Like Brock, cool, got it. I understand the definition, focus. I got the tree analogy. You build up a tree and then you branch out. Like I get it. You build the solid trunk and then you branch out. I get it. But what do you actually pick? Two things that you pick. Please write this down. The first part of picking your niche is to pick a specific group of people to serve. For a lot of you, the group of people that just popped into your head is women. That is a great first step, but that is not your last step. Because women is 4 billion people. That's half the planet. You cannot effectively serve half the planet. Oprah Winfrey and Ellen DeGeneres combined cannot serve half the planet. Throw Mother Teresa in the mix. They can't serve half the planet. You need to get more specific than that. That's a great first step, but let's get more specific. These women, what are their demographics? Are they over 50? Are they in their 40s? Are they out of college? Are they high school graduates? Are they moms? What about single moms, military moms, moms of two? Maybe they're moms of fur babies. Like, what is this group of people, right? Let's start there. What is this group of people? And number two, the second thing that you have to pick is pick a problem that you have solved. A really useful question to ask yourself when you're doing this. And let me say that it's okay to put a star next to this and to come back for it as homework. Because I understand as we're talking, as I'm speaking right now, you might not have this defined. You know, your anxiety levels might be high right now because you're like, oh, shoot, he's still just getting started off. Like we're still in the ascent of this flight and I'm already lost. It's okay if you need to put a star next to this and come back to it for homework. Group of people and a problem. But like I was saying, a good question that you can ask yourself is, if I were to talk to myself last year or 3 years ago or 5 years ago or when I was 18, what would I tell that woman? What would I tell her? What would I help her with? If there was one problem that I could solve for her, what would it be that would change her life and make everything so much more simple and clear and easier? If I could just help her with this one thing, what would it be? That's a great starting point. You've heard my group of people and my problem already. You might not have realized it, but I said it as the first thing after I said my name. I help small business owners with organic Instagram growth. That's my group of people. That's the problem I have solved. So pick that group of people, pick that problem, and then you plug it into this fun little Mad Lib that actually isn't very fun, but it's I help specific group of people with and the problem you help them solve. I help who with what? I help small business owners with organic Instagram growth. I help Nigerian moms with postpartum fitness. Who is that group? What is the problem that you solve for them? The more specific you can get, the better. I like to say niche because I think that's the proper way of pronouncing it. But actually, according to Google, you can say niche or niche. But some people like to say niche because the riches are in the niches. The riches are in the niches. What that means is the more simple and focused you can get, the better. We think of Amazon, right? Like Amazon's like the biggest company in the world. Like it's mind blowing. Amazon. Like I live in Seattle, so I know about Amazon. Like there's like 300 Amazon buildings here downtown. That is not an exaggeration. Amazon started as a used book reselling website. It was not the website where you can buy anything and have it delivered an hour later. It started out as a place where you could buy and sell used books. Start small. Start with a focus. You can build up that tree into a big, beautiful redwood and branch out in a million different directions one day. But let's start with a very specific focus. Let's start with this niche statement. I help who with what? Rock, I thought this was an Instagram training, and so far we've only been talking about niche. I hear you. And that's why this niche statement goes in the first line of your Instagram bio. The very first line. Highlight that, underline it, tattoo it on your forehead, whatever you got to do. Your niche statement goes in the first line of your Instagram bio. And here's why. And I would love for you to put in the chat, guess how long you think it takes for someone to decide if they're going to follow you once they land on your profile. Like Lisa, once they land on your profile, how long before they know if they're following you or not? I've yet to see a wrong answer. 5, 3. Okay, a couple people. Okay, I've seen a couple wrong answers. Less than 7 seconds. Less than 7 seconds. Less than 7 seconds is how long it takes for someone to decide if they're following you or not. So if your bio says mom of 2 fur babies who loves to travel and is a wine enthusiast, and Disney is your passion, and you love skiing on weekends, and you're a Virgo, and then you have 19 different emojis, you have lost my attention. You have lost the opportunity to win me over as a follower. You have fractions of a second to make the best first impression possible. This is not your time. And I know it sounds a little weird to say this, but this is not your time to rattle off everything about you, and here's some fun facts, and here's like a little piece of trivia that you could use about me on game night. Your bio needs to clearly tell these new potential followers what's in it for them. Because we're all stingy with our follows. We're all like, ooh, I don't, it's 7 seconds. I don't know if I want to follow this person. I'm looking really quickly. What's in it for me if I'm following you? So let's get as specific as possible with this line. I help who with what? That goes in the first line of your Instagram bio. Think about it like a billboard, right? We're flying by your Instagram profile at 1,000,000 miles per hour. So your billboard needs to be very clear. Right when we land on your profile, it needs to be very clear what it is you're all about and if we should follow you or not. So that goes in the first line of your bio. I'll give you some examples here. This is 6 a.m. practice. He's doubled his followers since changing up this stuff in his bio. He says, I help student athletes make varsity. Would any of us follow him? No, probably not. But does he want any of us following him? I mean, maybe he wants me like 8 years ago following him, but no, he doesn't want us following him. He wants student athletes and their dads who are trying to help them make varsity. Like that's who he wants. And so that's who he's targeted. If we followed him, it wouldn't be helpful for him because we're not going to buy his products. We're not going to engage with his content. We don't need motivational quotes about hockey practice tonight because we aren't his ideal follower. So when you get more specific here, it actually helps you grow this ideal follower who will become a customer, Here's another example. Kenya Kelly. I help entrepreneurs build brands through video marketing. Another one, Sharice Allison. She is one of our Insta Club Hub members. She says, I help women. So I do wish she got more specific than women, but she did get really specific with the problem. Transform with less than 30-minute at-home workouts and food freedom. So her who wasn't as specific, but I'm glad she got a little bit more specific on the second half. And she's actually changed this a few times since then, I believe. Some final notes about niche before we move on. Your niche will evolve and change over time. Quick story. I briefly mentioned Snapchat earlier. My start wasn't in Instagram marketing. My start was in helping moms keep their kids safe on Snapchat. You might not remember it, but like in 2016, 2017, Snapchat was as popular, if not more popular than TikTok is now. And that was my thing. I was a freshman in college and I was helping moms keep their kids, which I was a kid, safe on Snapchat. I'm doing something totally different now. Most of you have no clue that I used to do that with Snapchat. Your niche will evolve and change over time. It will evolve and change over time. Number two, the second thing that I wanted to say about niche is that not picking a niche is what's stopping you from growing. So you could send me a message on Instagram later tonight if you want to, and you can say, Brock, I'm doing everything you said. And I get this message 18 times a day. I'm doing everything you say. I'm consistent. I'm showing up, but I'm just not growing. And I say, revisit your bio, revisit your niche. I personally reviewed over 500 Instagram accounts in 2019 and 2020, over 500 Instagram accounts. And probably about 497 made the same mistake. And it was that they were not specific enough with their niche. I can't plead with you enough. You have to get specific with this niche. And then the final note that I will tell you is that picking a niche unlocks the door for everything else on Instagram. Everything else becomes so much simpler and easier once you have this thing defined. But let me give you one more analogy. I love analogies. They help me make sense of the world. I do have some ADHD tendencies, although my mom is very quick to point out I am not diagnosed with ADHD like she is. But nonetheless, analogies help, right? Analogies help you understand things. So what she came up with, and she came up with this analogy, is that you date your niche. You date your niche. You pick a niche and then you date it. Let's go with this analogy for a second. Go with me. When you're dating your niche, you can't date 19 different niches at the same time, right? That's not going to work. Like you have to date just one niche at a time. You can't date you can't even date 2 or 3. Pick one, date that one niche, and then you'll be able to tell if it's right or wrong for you. But the other thing about dating your niche is you're probably not going to be able to tell if it's right or wrong for you after like one day or a week or 2 weeks. Like you're going to have to give it some time. It's going to take 2 or 3 months before you know if this niche is right for you. I've been doing this Reels challenge right now where I'm posting a reel a day and encouraging everyone to do the same. And someone messaged me yesterday and they said, Brock, I'm on day 6 of your challenge. I've posted 6 reels in the last 6 days and I haven't grown my following yet. What am I doing wrong? I said, what you're doing wrong is expecting results in 6 days. No one goes to the gym and then they walk out and then they're like, where's my 6-pack? What the heck? I went 3 days in a row. Consistency. But anyways, you have to date your niche, right? You have to date it for 2 to 3 months. And another part that's implied with dating your niche is that there's no soulmate niche. Like when I'm telling you to pick a niche, I'm not telling you to pick one soulmate niche to stick with for the rest of your life and it's got to be the perfect one. You just pick one and you date it for 2 or 3 months. Then at the end of 2 or 3 months, if it's still working out, if you're still grooving with it, you still like it, you keep going. And if you don't, you break up with it and you pick a new one. But ultimately, you're just dating your niche. There is no one perfect soulmate niche for you. You just pick one. Now, I just briefly brought up my little Reels challenge that I'm doing. There's nothing better for growth than Instagram Reels. There's nothing better for your Instagram growth than Reels. But here's the thing, and here's why we had to start with niche. There's a reason why I'm doing this in a specific order. Because if you post all your reels up and you go viral and you reach millions of people, you will not grow your following unless you have clearly defined your niche. Because you'll go viral, which is awesome, which is the power of reels. You'll reach millions of people. That's the power of an Instagram reel. You can reach hundreds of thousands or millions of people for free. What an era we live in, right? But all of those people will now be visiting your profile. And when they visit your profile and your bio doesn't tell them who you can help or how you can help, what's in it for them? Why should they follow you? Are you hoping that they're going to spend more than 7 seconds and scroll through your feed and read all your long captions? Your bio has to be optimized. Then once that box is checked off, we can move on to everything else. But we had to start with the niche. We had to start with that that before we move on to the juicy fun stuff, which is Reels. And there's nothing better for growth than Reels. Nothing better than growth for Reels. In the last 30 days, this is my own stats. I had 11.5 million views total across my Reels. I gained 36,000 followers in the last 30 days. And I got over 3,000 customers, new customers for our Insta Club Hub and some of the other products and courses and services I offer. That's in the last 30 days, almost exclusively from Reels. I haven't really posted much besides Reels. I posted like a couple other little things here and there. I think I went live once or twice, but it's been almost exclusively Reels. Here's some other examples though, like don't just take my word for it. I asked people to DM me the other day what their results were from posting Reels over the last month with me. Heather said that she got 667,000 views and she only had 700 followers at the time. So the first number you see, that's how many views she got. The second number is how many followers. Maddie Givens said she got almost 1 million views, 852, and she had 11,000 followers. Charisse Allison, that's the woman I told you about earlier with the bio. Remember her? 4.5 million views. And at the time, 1,200 followers. Now, 13.1. Her followers more than 10x. Cozy says she got 35,000 views. She had 200 followers. And now she gained another 200. So she doubled her followers. My dog, that's my dog, Misa Mila. She got 1 million views and 10,000 followers. And then she went up another 5. 3.2 million views, 71,000 views, 3.9 million views, 40,000 views, 4.9 million views, 3.3 million views, 16.5 million views from an Instagram reel. She had 13,000 followers at the start. She got 16 million views on a reel. That's insane. That's insane. So my tip for you, my encouragement for you about reels is to just start posting them. She who starts and fails will always be ahead of she who fails to start. Just start posting reels every single day on my Instagram feed. That's why I showed you my feed earlier and encourage you to follow me. Every single day, I'm posting at least one reel with a full tutorial in the caption. Here's how to use this sound. Here's what the lyrics are. Here's, the steps. And a lot of these reels, the really cool thing, there's no dancing. Like, I love to dance. That's me. If that's you, that's cool. That's awesome. We would love to hang out. But like, you don't have to dance on your reels. You don't have to be goofy and funny and extravagant. You don't have to twerk like I do and take off you can make very powerful educational reels that go viral without ever having to learn a step of choreography. So that's my little tangent about reels, is to just flippin' start using them. Just start using them. They are the most powerful thing on Instagram, bar none. Let's talk about hashtags, right? Because there's never been an Instagram training without hashtags. I don't think in the history of Instagram training, it's never been without hashtags. And that's because posts with one hashtag get 12.6% more engagement. Use hashtags, you get more engagement. So my top tips for you, and I'll fly through these because some of these you might already know, some of these might have no clue, but just write these down and I promise they will all make sense by the end. You need 30 hashtags. And remember, we're only talking about the feed, right? We're not talking about stories, the feed, 30 hashtags on every feed post. I recommend putting them in the comments section and not the caption. Directly from John Ushai, who is the head of marketing at IGTV, he says, it doesn't matter. So all these Instagram experts who are like, it doesn't count if it's in the comments. Yes, it does. It only counts if it's in the caption. Sure. It counts your hashtags. They count. They're applied to your post, whether you put them in the comments or you put them in the caption. It does not make a difference. I recommend putting them in the comment section because it looks better, right? At the end of the day, Instagram is still an aesthetic platform. It's still a platform that's about visuals, right? So let's not put a big old chunk of hashtags in our caption. Let's put them in the comments. 30 hashtags in the comments on every single feed post, and it needs to be as immediately after posting. Immediately after posting, ASAP. Going back to your post from this morning, unfortunately, will not make a difference. It needs to be as soon as possible. And then fourth, these need to be targeted hashtags. And let me tell you what I mean by that. Targeted hashtags. Hashtags that relate to your niche. So hashtag fitness, hashtag workout, hashtag exercise, way too big. Those are industries, remember? Hashtag wellness, hashtag nutrition, hashtag food. Those are industries. Those are not your niche. Your niche is hashtag, in my example, I wouldn't use hashtag Instagram, right? I wouldn't use hashtag marketing. I would use hashtag Instagram growth tips, Instagram marketing advice, something that's way more specific, way more targeted, if you will, way more related to my niche. And then my final tip for you about hashtags, because right here, your anxiety is pretty high. I can feel that. 30 hashtags as soon as possible. They need to be specific, related to my niche. It needs to be immediately after posting. Like, that's stressful. I hear you. And so that's why you should make pre-made lists and save them in your notes app on your phone. Such a game changer. Saves you so much time, because then you have all these lists ahead of time. And this is another great thing to do for homework, is to create some hashtag lists. Now you have these lists ahead of time and you can just copy and paste them as soon as you post. That definitely saves you time. But I do have a pro tip for you. I do have a pro tip. So if those first 5 tips, you're like, okay, I got it. I took a screenshot. I'm going to make my list. Like, that's helpful. Get ready for this pro tip. And I hope you're buckled in. I hope, like, the fasten seatbelt sign is on. We're like midway through this flight. I hope you're buckled in. This hashtag pro tip that I have for you is to create text shortcuts for your hashtags. Some of you, your mind was just blown. Some of you, you're like, what does that mean? And for some of you, the oxygen mask just deployed from the overhead compartment. Create text shortcuts for your hashtag lists. Here's what that means. I will show you exactly what that means. And I can't give you a tutorial on how to do this because it's a little bit different on every single phone. It's like, it's different from iPhone to Android. And then some people are on iPhone 4, some people on iPhone 12. Like, I hear you, they come out with a new one every 3 months. Create text shortcuts. Just Google it, ultimately. GTS, Google that stuff. Google how to create text shortcuts. I'll show you exactly what it is, though. I create a shortcut for every single list that I have. So when I'm posting on Instagram, I don't have to post and then go to my notes app and then find the hashtag list I want and then copy it and then go back to Instagram and then paste it into the caption. Like, I don't have to do all that. All I have to do, I'll show you this in real time, is type H2 or H1 or H3. That's the shortcut that I've chosen for my hashtag list. There it is, H2. Now watch what happens when I press space. Boom. 30 hashtags. I can do it with H1. You want me to do it with H1? H1. There's H1, press space. Boom. I'll show you. There's my list of hashtags. Guess what? I have one for my dog as well. My dog's name is Mila. I type Mila H, and there's a bunch of hashtags that are related to my dog. So whenever I post on her Instagram, I have those hashtags ready to go. Creating this text shortcut will save you time. I told you, Stephanie put the mind blown emoji. I told you that I want to save you time. I don't want to make you have to sit on Instagram for 19 hours a day researching hashtags and copy and pasting, and then go to this website and then go to text shortcuts. H1, boom, there's your hashtags. You're done. Move on. We're good. Now, if that was a little bit mind-blowing, if that was some turbulence for you, then I encourage you, like, the fasten seatbelt sign is still on. It is still illuminated. The crew is moving through the aisleway. Fasten seatbelt sign is still on, because what I have to go on a quick tangent about, a quick rant, and I actually need your permission for this one, is I need to go on a quick rant. I can't quite tell you what it's going to be about, but let me know in the chat, please, if I have your permission. It's okay if I don't, but I need your permission for this quick little rant that I'm about to go on. Cecily was quick with the yes. Forget the aesthetic. Forget the aesthetic. Forget the Instagram aesthetics. It's not 2017. Close your eyes for a second, please. I love analogies. If you're driving, I saw some people in their cars. If you're driving, don't close your eyes. We don't need any car accidents happening because of this live training. But if you're in the comfort of your own home and you feel comfortable closing your eyes, then I encourage you to do so. It does help. But imagine someone is knocking at your door. Not opportunity knocking, that's way too cheesy, but someone's knocking at your door multiple times per day. And when you open the door, they're handing you money, or they're writing you a check, or they're handing you some valuable diamonds and pearls, or they're handing you a nice pair of Louboutins. Like, are you opening the door every single time? Yes or no? You can answer me in the chat. You can open your eyes if you want. Yes or no? Are you opening the door every single time? If when they knock, they're handing you value. Hell yeah, says Lynn. Heck yeah, says Emily. I love these responses, by the way. That's awesome. Yes, you're opening the door. And in fact, you're probably asking them, you're like, hey, can you come back sooner? Can you come back like every single hour? Can you come back like every 15 minutes and just keep handing me money? Yes, of course. Now imagine this. There's someone else knocking at your door every couple hours. And when you open the door, they're like, hey, can I show you a picture of the smoothie I drink for breakfast? Hey, can I show you a time-lapse video of my workout this morning? Hey, can I show you a picture of my dog on the couch? Hey, can I show you a picture of my kids on the first day of school? Hey, can I show you a picture of me and my cousin out to dinner last night? Are you opening the door ever? Like, even if it's your best friend, you might open it like 1 or 2 times and then you're like, close the blinds. Pretend like nobody's home. Like, we don't want them anymore. Yet this is how we treat social media. We show up, we post on social media like it's this constant competition. And I understand why. The influencers and the celebrities have created this terrible habit in all of us that it's this game of comparison, right? And we have to constantly be showing up and like, this is me, this is me, this is what I did. Look at me, look at me, look at me. Like, I have the wig and I have the influencer hat right here. Like, we could go there if you want to. We can start talking about it if you want to. Forget the aesthetic. I brought props tonight. Forget the aesthetic. Here's the point of those 2 people knocking at your door. You didn't care how the person who and gave you money, the person who knocked and gave you value, you did not care what they looked like, right? You don't care if they're wearing a skirt or a dress or a suit. You don't care if they're wearing a kilt or Crocs or Tevas. You don't care what they're wearing. You don't care if they have a mullet, because they're providing you with value. That's what we care about. I know that like we've been sold for the last 6 years on like pretty aesthetics and have a matching feed and remember your brand colors. None of that matters. What matters is how much value you provide for your audience. And I will help you out a little bit later with what is value. I will give you an exact definition right before we land this flight. I will give you an exact definition of what is value. I'll help you out with that. But forget the aesthetic, please. Forget the Instagram aesthetic. It does not help you grow. Go ahead, look at my Instagram account, which you heard earlier grew by 36,000 followers this month. There's no color scheme. There's no fancy filters and presets. There's no filters that make my skin look like I have no pores. Like sometimes you're going to see me sweaty after a workout. Sometimes you're going to see me with a hat on because my hair is sweaty after a workout. Like the aesthetic does not matter. So I appreciate you sticking with me. I know there was some turbulence there, but I appreciate you sticking with me when we forgot the aesthetic. Please stay buckled up because we are headed into another bumpy patch. We're headed into another thunder cloud because we're going to be talking about how much you should be posting, which is another scary topic. Instagram is a scary place, I tell you. How much you should be posting on Instagram. If you're posting less than 4 times a week, you are most likely losing followers. That's for a lot of different reasons. Instagram deletes fake accounts. People get bored. People unfollow for no reason. People were tacky themselves and they were hoping that you would follow them back and then they just unfollowed you. If you're posting less than 4 times a week, you are losing followers. If you're posting 4 or 5 times a week, you're kind of in like what we call the maintenance phase. You're maintaining, you're kind of plateaued, right? You're posting, or excuse me, you're growing by 2 and then -2 and then +4 and then -3. You're pretty plateaued. If you're posting 7 to 10 times a week, so pretty much once a day, some days 2 times a day, then you're in a slow growth. You're probably going to be growing by maybe 10 to 15 followers a week. Some weeks you'll be down, but generally speaking, you're in a slow growth phase. If you want, I'm going to take that slide down before everyone leaves this Zoom call. If you want maximum Instagram growth, 14 to 21 per week on the feed, not the stories, the feed. The feed, yes, and this regards the feed. 2 to 3 a day on the feed. I'm here to tell you what works. I'm here to tell you what has scientifically been proven to work. I'm not here to give you a hug and tell you, hey, you want to lose weight? Just work out once a month. Eat healthy like every once in a while. Eat healthy when you remember to. You'll be fine. What kind of a fitness coach, what kind of a personal trainer would I be if that was my advice? It'd be terrible advice. What kind of a piano coach would I be if I was like, piano? You want to be great? Just like practice once a month. Just like every once in a while, and a couple times a week, just show up and play some keys randomly and then, move on. If you want consistent growth, if you're serious about growth, 2 to 3 times per day, 2 to 3 times per day, ideally. Now, I'm about to help you understand, and remember, I want to save you time on Instagram. It's my job to make sure that you're not spending 19 hours a day on Instagram. Because as Aaron just said, WTF, I'm in trouble. 2 to 3 times a day, that suddenly means a lot more work on Instagram, right? So I understand how you feel. Like I understand that creates a lot more work, but I will help you in just a second. I understand how it makes you feel. I don't need to show these slides because I just saw the chat blow up. I've never seen so many comments in a chat. How does this make you feel? Like you don't have enough time? Like you can't get people to comment and engage? Like you have nothing interesting to post? Like you don't have the time to show up, so why even bother? Like you feel overwhelmed and frustrated? I understand. I feel for you. Let me give you a quick hug and say that there is a solution. There is a solution to posting 2 to 3 times a day with actually creating less work for yourself. Are you ready? You ready for this solution? I appreciate the thumbs up. Thank you for that. I hope everyone is still buckled in. I think like one person rudely got out of their seat and like went to the bathroom, even though they were serving peanuts, but like, that's okay. By the way, they never serve peanuts on planes anymore. It's only pretzels. So anyways, there is a solution. There is a solution. And what it's called is featured content. Featured content. And I know that this slide isn't helpful for you because you're like, what the heck is featured content, Brock? I will walk you through it. Featured content. What is it? It's popular posts. Please write this down. Featured content. It's popular posts from other accounts that you feature on your own. Hence the name featured content, featured posts. They're popular posts from other accounts that you feature on your own. Some synonyms, you might know some of these guys: reposts, reshares, regrams, featured content. I almost just poked my eye out with my straw. That's why I never drink with a straw. Featured content. Here's some case studies. You wanted case studies, right? Here's 4 different accounts that we run, and my account is actually at 114 now. Here's some accounts we run. On the far left, Blair, I'm going to answer your question. Blair said, how much is too much? How much should we be doing this? I will show you in just a second. Here's Push Me Daily on the far left. You can see this account. It's like motivational quotes. Think of like Boss Babes Instagram accounts, motivational quotes and journal prompts and stuff like that. Here's home workouts for you. 500,000 followers. It's home workout ideas, like home workout videos. People, it's what the name implies, obviously. Marketing Impact Academy's got 50,000 followers, and that's all like marketing, entrepreneurship, tips, advice, all that stuff. And then my personal account on the far right. This is a screenshot from a few months ago. So these are 4 different accounts in 4 different industries who all use this strategy. The next slide that you are about to see, please, I encourage you to put the questions in the chat down for a second and pick up the pen, because I will answer every question that you have. I promise. The next slide you're about to see, everything that's in green is featured. Everything that you see in green is a repost. What? Look at home workouts for you. 100% reposts. Would you like to have an audience of 500,000 people who are all interested in home workout ideas? I tell you, the followers on that account, it's like 94% female. It's 80% over the age of 35. all interested in home workout ideas. And if there's anyone on the planet who could make home workout videos all day long, it's my mom. Like, she could make home workout videos all day long. She could go up on our roof or go in our garage at our house and like film workout videos. But why create extra work? Why create more work for yourself? Why create more stress when instead you can feature other people's content all day long and grow your following? So, how much should you be reposting? How much? If you have less than 10,000 followers, 80% of your content. People are often mind blown by this stat. And you know what I say? Go back to this slide. You saw how much is in green. If you have less than 10,000 followers, you should be reposting 80% of the time. That's what we recommend. That is based off our analytics. That's based off our research. It's based off our data and what we've seen on these accounts. If you have less than 10,000 followers, 80% of your content should be a repost. If you have more than 10,000, go ahead and adjust accordingly. Like, you know, I have 100,000 now. So like I adjust these ratios accordingly. Sometimes I do more, sometimes I do less. But here's the bottom line. When you're featuring other people's content, let me walk you through this for a second. You don't have to be a graphic designer. You don't even have to open up Canva. It's already been created for you. You don't have to be a marketing expert or go to school and get a degree in marketing and business. You don't have to know why it's going to be popular and do well, why it's trending. You don't have to figure out, is this going to do well? Is this the right headline? Is this the right topic? Is this the right quote right now? You don't have to figure that out. Someone else already done it. You don't have to do that work. You don't have to write the caption if you don't want to. You can use the caption they've already done. So you save yourself time and energy and effort. And here's really another cool thing. You can shout someone else out, promote someone else's page. You can lift up and help someone else shine. You can direct some eyeballs and some new followers to them. But guess what? All ships will rise. All ships will rise. I'm a firm believer in that. I'm a firm believer in it because, yeah, it's a mindset I've been carrying my whole life, but also it's something I've seen time and time again on Instagram. When you help other accounts grow, your account grows as well. I can give you a case in point example of this. I reposted another popular Instagram academy, a competitor, in December. I reposted them. They grew by a couple hundred followers. A couple hundred of my followers were like, wow, this is some great content. I'm going to follow them too. But guess what? I also grew by over 100 followers from one post. One post, which took me 0 time. And I was just featuring someone else's content, got me over 100 followers. Think about that. No time, no effort, no energy. I was posting one of my competitors and it grew my account by 100 followers because guess what? My page has now become a resource. Your page can become a resource for people to turn to for great content related to your niche. And it doesn't have to all rely on your expertise. It doesn't have to rely on your own credibility and what you can come up with. Let's turn Instagram into the community that we all want it to be, right? How can you reshare content? Download any reposting app, and then basically you find the top content, you copy the link, and you put it in the app. There's a bunch of different reposting apps on the App Store. There's like 1,000 of them. Go ahead, pick one that works for you, find one that works well. You know, if it glitches out or it's not working that day, download a different one. There's a bajillion, so just download a reposting app. There's no repost button on Instagram. It's not like Twitter where you can like retweet someone with the tap of a button. It's not like Facebook where you can share someone else's post onto your wall or whatever. I don't even use Facebook. It's it's a little bit more complex on Instagram. You will need a separate app. You will need a reposting app. So you can go ahead and write that down for yourself. We are landing this plane in just a second. We are in our final descent. The one difference with this flight is, yes, the fasten seatbelt sign is still on, but also you're allowed to keep your tray table down for note-taking purposes. That is the one caveat about this flight, is you can have the tray table down for note-taking purposes. All of your content on Instagram, whether it's a reel, whether it's a repost, a feature of someone else's content, or whether it's something that you made yourself, something that you have decided to post, something that you are physically making yourself and you're not featuring someone else. The key, the major key for all my DJ Khaled fans is that it's share-worthy content. That's the ultimate goal. is to create share-worthy content. And you know what share-worthy content is. Because for every single person who just had a thought, what is share-worthy content? You've probably also shared something today. Because that's how we use social media. We're sharing other people's stuff. We're sending it to our friends. We're screenshotting it and sending it in the family group chat. We're posting it on our story. We're sharing content all day long, resharing each other. Share-worthy content is the key. So what is it though? It's anything that's valuable. I told you that I would give you a definition for value. This is it. Value is anything that's entertaining, educational, motivational, funny, humorous, insightful. This is the one that I want to bring forward though. Educational, because that's the one that we can all do. We might not all be entertaining. We might not all find ourselves super funny. We might not feel like there's anything inspirational about our story. We might not feel like we have the craziest new groundbreaking insights. That's okay. But what we can all be is educational, because we have all had countless stories and life experiences. We've all gone through some stuff. We've all had these trials and tribulations. We all went through 2020. We can all be educational. We can all provide value through teaching others and serving others, pouring into our followers. Anything that's valuable is shareable. Anything that's valuable is shareable. And then the final note that I'll finish the sentence off with is shareable content is the stuff that people are compelled to share with their friends and their families and followers. And the reason for this, the reason you want shareable content is that shares put your post in front of new followers. This is where we are landing the plane. The wheels have popped out. This is where we are landing today's flight. When you share, when your post gets shared, when people share your post, people discover you. Their followers discover you. More shares, more followers. That's why you want to produce share-worthy content. Because the more your posts get shared and reshared and sent within group chats and shared on stories, that's more followers. How do you get more shares? You create more value. It feeds into itself. Let me know in the chat if you've seen this graphic before. Let me know, please, in the chat. It's okay if you haven't. No shame if you haven't, none at all. But let me know. A lot of people saying yes. It's okay if you haven't. One person said nope. A couple no's. Cool. A lot of people saying yes, a lot of people saying no. This was shared by Jennifer Aniston. It went viral. It was all over Instagram. It was reposted by 1 million people. Everyone saw it. It's not true. So if you were just scribbling this down into your notes, or you just took a screenshot, go back and delete it, or scribble it out of your notes, or erase it, this is not true. This is not true. I told you, everything I'm teaching you tonight, I'll put the glasses back on. Everything I'm sharing with you tonight is based off of researched, scientifically collected and gathered data through countless case studies. This is not true. I'll give you a summation of what this post is saying. What this post is saying is that the most valuable form of engagement on Instagram is a save. That's what this post is saying. It's saying the most important thing, the new like, is a save. That's the icon for a save. That's what it's trying to say with this post, is that the most important thing on Instagram is to get your posts saved. You know that's not true. You saw this slide. You know that's not true. Shares are what are most important. Shares are what are most important. Because when your content gets shared, more people find your content, more people find you, more people visit your profile. The reason, and I love this example, I love this little graphic because it went viral. But it went viral not because people were saving it. It literally proved itself wrong by going viral. It went viral because people were sharing it. It proved itself wrong. I'll give you the quick background on this little graphic. It was created because there was some blog article that was written in 2017, and then someone found it in 2021. And then they made a little graphic about it, and they said it was like the new thing. It makes me laugh. Someone said, oh, the irony. Yeah, the irony is hilarious that this post literally went viral because it got a lot of shares and it proved itself wrong. That's just to go and show you though, case in point, there's 1 million different Instagram experts. And unfortunately, a lot of them are just regurgitating what some other Instagram expert said. And they're regurgitating what they heard somebody on YouTube said. and they're regurgitating, oh, I heard this and I think this might be the case, or, oh, this worked for me. I talked to a woman the other day. She says she's an Instagram expert, and I saw that she was giving some really not true information on her page. And I said, hey, I sent her a message. I said, hey, and this is true. I was at the coffee shop down the street when this happened. And I was like, hey, I just want to let you know, like, some of these points you've been making in some of your recent posts, they're not accurate based off, how the algorithm actually works. And she said, oh, well, it works for me. I said, I'm sure it does. And that's awesome. And I'm really glad that you found out that that works for you. But I think you should at least tell your followers that this is what works for me and not this is what'll work for you. Because just because it worked for you doesn't mean it's going to work for somebody else. What you need, and the reason that you've been sitting here for the last 55 minutes on this whole flight, is that you want to know what actually matters on Instagram, what actually is going to make a difference to actually grow your following with actual customers, people who are going to become people who are going to become customers, lifers, people who are going to invest in you and join your team and become a part of your business, not just some random new strategy that's going to take up 19 hours of your day and you're going to see no growth. And we understand that. My mom and myself, we understand that. And that's why we created the Insta Club Hub. And I know we have some Insta Club Hub members on here right now, and we're going to get to Q&A right after this. But if it's okay with you, I'd love to share some more info about the Insta Club Hub, if that's cool with you. We will get to Q&A. I promise we'll have Q&A. Cecilia said she joined yesterday. We'll get to Q&A right after I tell you about this, but I would love to really quickly just tell you about this little thing that my mom and I made, the Insta Club Hub. What is it? What is the Insta Club Hub? It's the premier Instagram coaching membership. Grow your Instagram with fast and real followers. It's simplified solutions. I had someone ask me in Insta Club Hub the other day, they said, Brock, can you show me how to make my own filters? And I said, you can GTS, you can Google that stuff, but that's not what we're teaching in Insta Club Hub, because that's not going to help you grow your following. That's not going to make a difference for your Instagram account. What's included in the Insta Club Hub? Hundreds, literally over 100 5-minute tutorials, quick, bite size. How do you add text to reels? How do you add this? Why is text right there? Live interactive trainings 2 times per month. My mom and I, just like you're watching right now, my mom and I do 2 of these a month. So literally we did one last week. We're doing one next week. So there's 2 live trainings a month, and they're always recorded, just like tonight. So if you ever can't be there live, they're recorded. There's a 24/7 Q&A, so that if you ever, if you ever have a question, you ever have a technical difficulty, wait, how do I get music? I still don't have reels on my account. What if I'm shadow banned? 24/7 expert Q&A. There's dozens of specialty trainings. There's simple ScreenFlow tutorials. We did an entire 1-hour long live training on how to find your niche. So if that big scary ghost is still sitting at the top of your notes and you're like, I don't want to go back and do my homework, like this is the homework that I'm dreading, we did an entire hour-long live training on how to pick your niche with example after example after example to walk you through so that you can see what other people chose and how that might, inspire you. Proven tips to go viral, converting followers into customers. We keep you focused on the things that will grow your business. Here's some screenshots of like some of the actual lessons. I won't even read all these off because I would take all night, but top mistakes to avoid, network marketing mistakes. That's a huge one. That's probably our most watched training we've ever done. I don't offer one-on-one coaching anymore. I told you earlier that I used to do one-on-one coaching. I don't do one-on-one coaching anymore. I don't do Instagram reviews anymore. I don't do profile audits. I don't do consulting work with big brands or anything. My only Instagram coaching is what you just heard tonight, or inside the Insta Club Hub. My mom definitely doesn't do any form of coaching. Its value is over a $2,000 value. That's what we have when we add all these things up, all these different trainings. You can join now for $47, or you can do an annual plan and save $267, which works out to less than $1 a day. And you can cancel at any time. Absolutely. Cancel at any time. If you like, and that's always what I like to say is, if you feel like tonight you got some value, you learned something from me, then I encourage you to join the Insta Club Hub. And if you join and you're like, this isn't worth it, this isn't worth my time, this isn't worth my money, I don't enjoy Brock and Chalene, his mullet bugs me, she's weird, I don't like them, go ahead and cancel. Go ahead. That's totally fine. Go ahead. I will share really quickly with you. I have just a couple of screenshots. I'll share with you 3. maybe 4, 3 screenshots, maybe 4 of what some of our other our other students, our other customers inside the Insta Club of what they've said. Anna, Anna _ natural beauty. And you can look these people up if you'd like, absolutely, go ahead, fact check us. She said, my reach increased by 912% after joining. Ashley Albeck said that she saw a 746.9% increase in engagement, content interactions, engagement. Casually Being Curry, video went viral, 232,000. Dana Crushing says her impressions are up 654%. Translation, 654% more people are seeing her posts. I showed you Charisse Allison earlier, the one who grew by 10,000 followers in 30 days. She had a reel go viral. We have countless growth, because we want to teach you what's actually going to work, just like I did tonight. And so if you would like to join the website, I'll put it in the chat, or if someone could put it in there for me, it's instaclubhub.com. My mom came up with the name. We thought it was a little catchy. instaclubhub.com. But I'd love to open it up for questions, if that's cool. I'd love to take some questions now. I appreciate Amy. Thank you for putting that in the chat. Amy, is it cool if I do some Q&A? Is that cool with you?
100%. Everybody is messaging me this is so amazing. Oh my gosh. So thank you. This is awesome.
Cool. I see Jessica's got her hand raised here. I'd love to take Jessica's question. I'll ask her to unmute.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
So what I'm wondering is, if you have a niche and you have your bio already set, and you're happy with it, for me personally, the content or reels that I like to do are more humorous and, make people laugh. They don't have to do with either the product I'm selling or my niche per se. Does your reels always have to be in conjunction with that? Or is that negatively affecting me because people come to my profile because oh, the video is funny, and then they read my bio so they know what it's all about. I mean, I'm still getting followers, but I don't know if it's counterintuitive that they don't know what I'm actually about per se.
Great question, Jessica. Thank you for asking it. Here's my tip. And unfortunately, if you're posting reels that don't relate to your niche, it's a lose-lose situation. Because one of two things is going to happen if you're posting a reel that doesn't relate to your niche. Either people, your followers, they see it and they're like, this isn't why I followed her. In my example, I'll give you my personal example of this. When I first got on Reels, all I did was post my old dancing videos from TikTok. There was no Instagram tips. There was no educational value to them. It was just dancing videos from TikTok. And either one of two things happen. Your followers see it and they're like, this isn't what I followed you for. This isn't what your bio says. This isn't what I know you for. And they either A, don't unfollow, or they don't engage, or B, they might unfollow because they're like, this isn't what I signed up for. This isn't why I'm here. That's option number one. Option number two is worse. Option number two is that the post does well. The post goes viral. And then, like you said, now you got some followers coming in the door, but they're following you for the wrong reasons. They're following you because they're interested in funny content. They're following you in memes, and they're following you in these reels, these, maybe goofy dancing reels in my example, but they're not actually your ideal customer. They're not your ideal follower. So they're following you for the wrong reasons. And then in a couple of weeks, once they keep seeing you showing up and then they see your bio and they're like, wait, this isn't what I signed up for. This isn't why I followed her. And you lose a bunch of followers. So it's ultimately a lose-lose situation. And that's why I recommend posting all of your reels related to your niche, keeping them niche related. A great question.
Can I piggyback off of that real quick? Yeah. So someone had asked earlier, does a reel, because when you were saying posting 2 to 3 times a day, does a reel count for one of those posts on your feed?
Heck yes, it does.
Okay. All right. And then so going live and the stories are all just extras.
Yes, I'll explain really quickly what the purpose of those things are. The purpose of stories are very important. Do not get me wrong. I know we only talked about the feed tonight, but don't get me wrong. Stories are important. Stories have value. Stories matter. your Instagram stories, they're how you build connections. They're how you build relationships. They're how you allow your audience to get to know you. These things are very important. They're how you build depth and these like back and forth and trust. Ultimately, sales come from stories. And that's because stories build trust, and trust equals sales. So stories are where sales take place. Stories have a purpose. But the reason we focused on the feed tonight is that stories will not help you grow. And that's why I was focused on tonight, was helping you grow your following so you have followers in the door to even talk to on your Instagram stories. So going live, posting on stories, these things have a purpose, but the feed is where your focus should be for growth. Ultimately, if you're reposting all the time and now you have a bunch of time, like, you should be doing both. Ideally, doing both feed and stories, but focus should be on the feed. Great question. Meredith, I would love to take your question.
Oh, thanks so much. So my mind is blown. I'll just tell you
Thank
that
you.
right now from the
Thank
last hour of my life. So thank you. Okay, so I think you just maybe answered my question. So stories, to me, stories is all I do. So
Yes.
whoops, my bad. But you know how you were like, people like to see your kids, but anyways, I really believe in attraction marketing, and I want to attract someone that I get along with, and that anyways, but much of my life is my kids, and
Absolutely.
my, I'm not selling my kids, but I am sort of marketing my life and my lifestyle. So so maybe what I'm gathering is that I share that part, the funny part about raising 3 boys, the messy mom, the da 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 da, in the stories, but keep the okay.
I should remove my video and just let you go full screen right now, because that is spot on. Your stories,
Okay,
stories, you share it all. Like, I know that I banged everyone over the head with
got
niche
it.
for an hour and a half, but your feed is where the stories are, or your feed is where the niche is, excuse me, your stories, anything and everything. Because your stories, like I was just saying, your stories are where you allow your audience to get to know you. So yeah, show us your kids, show us your life. Like on my stories, you see me snowboarding with my dog, you see my fiance, you see the like my
Got
ADHD,
it.
you see all that. That's how you allow your audience to get to know you and to attract them so that they love the real you. But we got to get them in the door first. And when we
Okay.
follow this traditional Instagram 5 pillars, and then I pick the 3 different things I'm going to focus on in my 19 different topics, it spreads everything too thin, and then we can't actually grow. So there's no one to fall in love with us. But great question. Yeah. Let's do another one. Danielle.
Hi. Okay. So the craziest thing, I don't have reels. I've contacted Instagram a million times. I've deleted the app, updated, blah, 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 to and I still don't have reels. It's so frustrating. Do you have any advice?
I'm so sorry. There's nothing that you can do, unfortunately. The only option is honestly to create a new Instagram account. It's the only real option to get reels. I'm guessing you're in the United States. Yes.
Yeah.
I'm guessing that you've updated your phone in the last couple months.
Yes.
I'm guessing that you've updated the Instagram app in the last couple months.
Yes.
That's what everyone's done. Unfortunately, I wish there was a better answer. It's the only real answer is that there's a billion people on Instagram, and Instagram is built by humans. And so there's bugs and issues and glitches in the software. So they're constantly trying to fix that stuff, but there's always going to be a few people who, I know it just sucks. They just like don't have reels. So unfortunately, you have either 2 options, or really 3 options. Just forget reels and go with other stuff, go with other kinds of posts. Create a new account and try to start from scratch, which could be a great option if you, like have a relatively low following, or they're not very engaged or whatever. Or number 3, do one of those first 2 and get on TikTok. Start posting TikToks so that way you can practice, you can have a bunch of content, and then maybe one of these days you're going to wake up and find a 4-leaf clover and reels are going to be available. And all of a sudden you have all of this content just ready to go. So you can post 3 months worth of reels without ever having to lift another finger because you already made them on TikTok. And who knows, maybe you even will go viral on TikTok too. And, get some followers over there that direct you back to Instagram. But yeah, I know it sucks. I wish I had a better answer for you. It's definitely the most common question I get on Instagram these days. I know it sucks. Katie, I would love to take your question. Yes, you, Katie. Oh, go ahead. Oh, hold on, Katie. I think we might have muted you. There you go.
What's your take on multiple accounts? For instance, like I have a personal and now I have a Savvy account, and doing reels on both?
So ultimately, of course, and everyone who has multiple accounts here tonight recognizes that the biggest struggle with having multiple accounts is just trying to juggle it all at once.
Right.
I think that it's okay to have multiple accounts as long as they have separate or different niches. But I think it becomes a challenge when it's like, well, this is my personal account that I post like my family and my kids, and like my Auntie Sue follows me here. And then this is like my business account, but like I'm also still posting things about myself here. Like it starts to, those like, where's that gray area?
What's your opinion on keeping everything on one?
I'm all for keeping everything on one, as long as you still recognize that your feed should be specific to your niche. Your feed is for growing your new potential ideal followers, not for making your family and friends happy by seeing pictures of you with your family.
Touché.
Thank you. Lindsay, I'd love to take your question.
So I've heard mixed reviews on creating something in TikTok and bringing it over to Instagram. So
Totally. Yeah. Great.
opinion?
Another great question. Officially from Instagram, if there is a TikTok watermark, and so for anyone who doesn't know what that means, basically when you save or download a TikTok video, it adds like a little like watermark over part of it. And Instagram, being the stingy people that they are, they publicly said, you can go look this up. They said, if there is a TikTok watermark, or if there is any watermark, but we all know they're referring to TikTok, if there's a watermark, they won't show your video to new people. They won't show your video to people who aren't following you. That's what they said. But we've seen examples where this isn't true. We've seen this happen. We've seen it be shown to people. So my guess is that Instagram's trying to scare us away. And maybe for some people, they literally are decreasing the reach if you have a video with a watermark. So, you're rolling the dice. Ultimately, what I like to do, and this is a pro tip, everyone please write this down. If you're trying to save a TikTok to post as a reel, by the way, a great thing to repost is a TikTok onto your reels. Find a viral TikTok, post it on your reels. Pro tip, go to snappic.app. I'll write that down so everyone can see it. Snappic.app. And that will allow you to save TikTok videos. I'll write that down right here. Can everyone read that, or is that backwards? Snappic.app. That allows you to download TikTok videos so they don't have the watermark. So if you post them on Instagram, you don't have to worry about getting punished or slapped on the wrist by Instagram, even though we're not exactly sure if they are actually doing that or not. But that's a really helpful tip. Krista, I'd love to take your question.
Thank you. So as far as posting, multiple times a day, do you recommend like how long in between each post, like a few hours, more than that, or what do you?
Yeah, I think that, if you're posting 3 times a day, there's only so many hours in the day. Like it's gonna naturally kind of space itself out and have to be relatively close to each other. Like, there's no way you're gonna be able to post 3 times a day and keep them all, 12 hours apart. That just literally doesn't work. The time of day that you post, I think that there's a lot of stress and importance put on that, when ultimately I don't think it makes a huge difference. Now, every audience is different. Some people, they know that like, hey, my followers, they're up at like 5, 6 in the morning and they're active. And when I post at that time, they engage. That's awesome. So ultimately, know your own audience, test your own audience. Everyone's audience is different. But if you're posting multiple times a day, that's another tip, is test. Like sometimes this morning, I posted twice in an hour. Sometimes I will post once in the morning and then I'll post not till the evening. But the one thing that I will say about posting multiple times a day, it's a myth that when you post a new post, your previous post stops getting shown. That's a myth. You can have even if your post is going viral, you can keep posting. Instagram's not going to like stop showing that post to people because you have a new post. That's a myth. That's not true. I have countless posts from months ago that are still getting seen by hundreds of thousands of people. I posted hundreds of times since then. So just keep posting. Just want to make that disclaimer. Aaron, and I think the name's cut off. It's Dominique, maybe. I'd love to take your question. And Dominique.
Hi, sorry. When you said the Aaron, I was thinking ERIN, but I forgot my name on there. Anyway, this has all been amazing. So thank you so much, first and foremost.
Thank you.
Okay, so I have heard recently about repurposing, utilizing Pinterest to help increase the Instagram following. And so I love Pinterest and I'm obsessed with it, and I wanted to utilize it in that way to help increase it. Do you know if that's more of a myth or if that really does help with attraction marketing?
Absolutely. That is definitely true. That is the case. You can take any picture that you post on Instagram, share it as a pin on Pinterest, and then you just link it back to that Instagram post. And what's really cool is that like Instagram posts aren't searchable. Like you can't go on Google and type in anything and find an Instagram post. You can find Pinterest posts. You can find pins. Pins are searchable. Pinterest is a searchable database. So yeah, this is a really cool way. And this is a great way to see posts that aren't reels go viral and get a lot of views and profiles. So yeah, you can do this. I can't give you a full tutorial right now, obviously, but there's plenty of tutorials on YouTube. And I think we're adding some to the Insta Club Hub about it. But yeah, absolutely. This is actually a project that I just had my assistant start doing for me, is taking all my Instagram posts and putting them on Pinterest. Great question. Yeah. Well, thank you. I'd love to do maybe one or two more. Is that cool? Yeah, let's go right here.
Hey, I'm going to try to, thank you so much for this. It's awesome. I'm going to try to make my question as general as possible. So I'm a DJ and I have a like 30,000 following and it's really engaged, but I'm trying to get my community to listen to me about what we're doing here at Savvy and almost, I guess, slightly change the niche on them. And I'm struggling to allow that to happen or to find the way. I don't know.
Do you think, and just a point of clarification, are you struggling yourself to do that and commit to that? Or is it just slow growth, not a lot of responding?
Not a lot of responding. Yeah, I'm just not seeing, I'm like, I see when I switch, to talk about this or when I introduce it to them, they're like, what is this? Like I've talked about DJing so much to them.
Totally. So there's a case in point in the power of a niche. And there's two sides to this coin, and you can look at it in either way if you like. But basically, you've built a big ship, you've built a big boat, and you have it flowing in one direction. It takes some time to turn that ship around. Like it's cruising. Everyone's like, yeah, DJ, we love it. She's great. She got it. And then they're like, wait, what was this? This is new. This is different. So ultimately, it's just going to take some time. And I think that the more you can allow them to really get to know you, the better. So especially stories, the more you can direct message with your followers and comment with them so they really fall in love with you. That'll be a big part of this, is them falling in love with you as you're changing your niche or rebranding or pivoting. But ultimately, it's the challenge we all face, whether you have 30 followers or 30,000. It just means, that's awesome. You built a bigger ship, but that just means it takes a little bit more time to turn it around. But I appreciate your question. I really appreciate you making it general to everyone. Jessica, I'd love to answer your question.
Hi. Oh my gosh. Thank you so much for all of this. I actually do social media management and I have learned so much. So you're helping me in multiple ways. But my question is more about alt text being an SEO. Can you maybe give us a tip or two on alt text and whether or not it's
Totally. So this is definitely an advanced topic. So for anyone who has no clue what alt text is, I'll try to give you the quickest definition possible. Right before you post on Instagram, a normal post, so not a reel, but just like an actual post onto your feed, there's a little tiny button at the bottom that says advanced settings. And if you tap on that, there's another setting that's called alt text. Alt text is something that was designed and created for people who are visually impaired using Instagram. So if they're scrolling through Instagram, Instagram will basically read them a spoken audio of describing what the picture is of. Instagram's computer isn't the best at defining it. So Instagram allows us as the users to like type in our own alt text. And if you're interested in accessibility and making Instagram a more inclusive place for people who are visually impaired, alt text, Google that stuff. It's awesome. It's definitely something you should look into. Alt text is also, Instagram analyzes the alt text to help determine where your posts show up. So the Instagram, again, that same computer, it can look at your picture and like generally see what's in it. Like the Instagram computer can like say like, oh, bookshelf, oh, like blue sweater, oh, like mullet. Like the Instagram algorithm can see some things, but you can help it out and you can help people who are visually impaired as well. So absolutely, I think that a great tip is anytime you're posting something to your feed, and I know this is advanced right now, but anytime you're posting something to your feed, it's not a reel, add some alt text. And really what the alt text should be is it should just be a description of the post. It should be describing what's going on, what the post is about. It shouldn't just be a bunch of keywords. I see a lot of, and I've even made this mistake myself of telling people when I first learned about alt text is just to put keywords in there, but that doesn't help, you know, the visually impaired community. So to basically describe the post, describe what it's about. If there's a quote or if there's, you know, anything going on, describe that in the alt text. And it's a win-win-win-win-win because everyone, you know, now everyone gets to use Instagram. Instagram knows what's in your posts. Instagram can categorize you. And Instagram themselves is working really hard to improve the searchability of the platform. So improving the alt text helps them do that. Let's go with this question right here with the kiddo.
Hi, say hi.
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 She just asked why my hand is a different color than everybody else's hand. So I had to explain that. Okay, so I'm just curious. So what's the, look, and some others asked this in the chat, but why do Reels work? Why does that increase your visibility? And like, what happens when you are posting 3 times a day? That just adds, like, beefs up your account, or that does something to the algorithm to boost your visibility? Like, can you speak to that a little bit?
Yeah, absolutely. So I would love to. 2 parts to this question. Number 1, let's talk about the multiple posts per day. Every single time you post, it's an opportunity to serve your existing audience, right? And it's an opportunity to reach a new audience. Serve your existing and reach a new. So that means every single time you post, you get to help your audience more and reach a new audience. So the less you post, the less people you're reaching. The more you post, the more people you're reaching. It's purely a numbers game. And from what we've found, from what our studies indicate, ideally 2 to 3 posts per day. That's the ideal number. Any more than that, and it starts to be a little bit too much. You know, we're seeing a little bit too much of your face, but 2 to 3 a day is what we're generally seeing on Instagram. And also you have to consider this. People might only be on Instagram in the morning and maybe you post at night. People might only be on at night and you post in the morning. You're missing those opportunities. So 2 to 3 times per day. So that's the multiple times per day thing. Reels, 2 reasons Reels work. Number 1, everyone loves to show off their newest thing, whether it be their new shoes, their newborn baby. Who does it look like? Their pictures of their dog, their puppy. Everyone loves to show off their new thing. Mark Zuckerberg is the exact same way. Reels are their new thing. Reels are Instagram's focus. Reels are what Instagram wants people to see. And the reason for that is because they saw how popular TikTok was. So Instagram created Reels, YouTube created YouTube Shorts, TikTok or Snapchat created their own version. Every app now has their own version of TikTok, like it or not. And it's because they know that TikTok is working. TikTok is holding people's attention. TikTok is keeping people on for longer than any platform before and keeping them more engaged than any platform before. So every platform, Instagram included, is now creating their own version of TikTok. And Instagram wants people to be using Reels. So when you post a Reel, Instagram shows it to hundreds, if not thousands of people. A lot of these people who aren't even following you yet. They show it to that many people in the hopes that those people then stay on Instagram. They like your content, they follow you, and they spend more time on the platform. That's ultimately the goal of all social medias. All these platforms, they just want you to spend more time there. And their data, their research indicates that Reels are what do that. And so like, let's play their game. If they want us to post more Reels, like let's make Mark Zuckerberg and Instagram happy by posting more Reels. It's going to help us out anyways. I'm going to do one more question. Vanessa, I'd love to take your question.
Hi, thank you so much for this awesome content. So my question is, it's great to have so many followers, but how do you convert those followers to customers and partners? Especially when you have a bunch of looky-loos.
Yeah, totally. I hear you. And there are a lot. And there's quick tangent. There's some Instagram experts out there who are like, block the people who don't engage with you. The people who don't engage with you might end up being your best customers. Don't block the people who don't engage with you. But here's the thing. Feed gets the people in the door. It gets people to show up at the party. Then once people show up at your party, it's your job to serve them as best as you possibly can. Be the best party host you can possibly be. Serve, pour into them, pay, play the best music. Shout out to our DJ, like have the best finger foods, have the best drinks. Be the best party host you can possibly be. And you do that by serving them on your feed with valuable content and allowing them to really get to know you on your stories. So that's the next step. Feed gets them in the door. Stories are where they fall in love with you. Your Instagram stories, that's where you show your whole life. That's where you show every bit of you. You allow your audience to really empathize with you and get to know you and feel like, hey, we're the same person. This gal, she's maybe a step or two ahead of me. Like she's got one or two things figured out that I would really like her help on. Then, and this is where this is the perfect ending. Perfect. I love this question. This is such a perfect ending for tonight's training. From stories, they enter your direct messages. And direct messages are where the sales take place. It goes down in the DMs. Sales, new team members, conversions, opt-ins. It takes place in the direct messages. Feed gets them to the party. Once they're at the party, it's the stories you tell that allow them to fall in love with you. And then it's those one-on-one conversations. Those, hey, pull you over, come over here for a second. One-on-one conversations in the direct messages where you've built that relationship. They know you, they like you, they trust you, they love you. That's when they become a customer. That's when they ask you for the link. That's when they ask you, how can I work with you? How can I join your team? How can I do what you do? Feed gets them in the door, stories gets them to fall in love, and the direct messages are ultimately where those conversions take place. A great question.
You're the best. This has been talk about value. I'd open my door to you all day long.
Thank you. Thank you. That's
You're
my goal.
amazing. Thank you so much. And you had I think about 410 people that were on this call. So it was amazing. So yes, everybody tell him thank you so much and shout him out. Remember, we want to, if you see, we want to encourage each other. Like if you see something that's valuable, shout your sideline sisters, your upline, your downline out. Like share. It's kind of like what we talk about all the time, having an abundance mindset. Share your people's stuff. Obviously you're not going to share everybody's everything, but if you like it, share it, comment. It takes you 2 seconds to do that. And what you do, hopefully maybe will come back to you. So Brock, thank you so much. I hope everybody is registered on your InstaHub Club because talk about value. So you're the best. Shout Brock out on your Instagram stories.
Really?
So thank you so much. I really appreciate everything.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Amy. And thank you so much, everyone, for hanging out with me tonight. I appreciate it.
Bye, y'all.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.